you where you can go get the information. Thanks, Leslie. Versus like just giving y'all a PowerPoint, because I'm pretty sure y'all not going to go back to the PowerPoint, but you will go to the places where I am telling you to go to, because that's where you're going to find all the things for this, okay? So when it comes to chapter operations, just in general, and this is going to be a little interactive. I want y'all to help me talk less. So we're going to go ahead and get this started. So when we say chapter operations, what do you guys actually think we are referring to? And you can just unmute.
I'd say like pretty much what it sounds like, the way the chapter should operate. And so like the rules and like regulations that we should follow and need to follow in order to make sure we are doing things correctly. So on and so on.
Okay. That's good. Anybody else want to add on? I mean, that pretty much summed up everything, but anybody else want to add on? No, it's okay, y'all. Y'all can just unmute. It's cool. If you're shy, it's cool too. Y'all gonna warm up to me. It's fine. But that's pretty much what it is. It's about how you're running your chapter and the foundations that you're laying in so that your chapter can actually function. Because we're not just a club, y'all. We're an actual like organization. So in order to be an organization, we got to do things in a certain way. But the thing is, each chapter is going to be different. And I know that from personal experience. You could go to 2 separate schools and it's like, it's the same basics, but it can be ran 2 different ways, okay? Or multiple different ways. But first off, when it comes to your chapter operations, y'all, please, when you have questions about anything, please reach out to somebody on the national council, your district council, your counselors, your chapter visitation assistants. Reach out to somebody, because no question is a dumb question. We're not expecting you to come in knowing everything, because guess what? That's not going to happen. I mean, sometimes it does. I mean, hey, you might have prior experience or whatever, but usually, I'm going to take the freshman that has never been in anything before and has never seen how organizations are ran. And, they're like, well, what does a president do? Those questions are okay. But again, I'm going to show y'all where y'all can go to actually figure out, like, as far as Tau Beta Sigma is concerned, typically what your role should incorporate. And another thing too, when it comes to chapter operations, the chapter is not one person. It's not just 2 people. It's everybody within the chapter. Now, I know there's some circumstances out there. Don't get me wrong. I know there's some circumstances, but usually it's everybody involved in helping the chapter operate from day to day, including your DOB or sponsor, including the people that are helping you. So we have to all work together in order for this to function, okay? So like I said, I like to show versus just, giving y'all a PowerPoint. I'm on this page, the membership page, but does everybody recognize this website? All right, we should all recognize this website. Please know this website like the back of your hand. When I say the back of your hand, if I'm like, hey, what's our national website? You should be able to spit that back out to me, because that's how well you should know and how often you should go onto this website, okay? And y'all probably like, well, Monica, I already know that. Like, I know we have a national website. Why are you showing me this? Look, I've worked with chapters for a while now, and you'll be surprised that a lot of people don't think to actually go on here to find certain information. And I'm here to tell you that's part of chapter operations. go here if you have any questions. Any questions, start here first. So where I really want to, I hate when don't y'all hate when the Zoom thing is not where you want it to be? All right, we'll just do it like this. Okay, so if you ever have a question about chapter operations, I want you to go to the resources and links and click resources here. When you're on this resources page, I want you to scroll down. Go to chapter documents and forms. The first thing that is here is the Tau Beta Sigma chapter operations handbook. Now this usually gets updated like that. Like it usually gets, sometimes it doesn't get updated, but that's okay. You can still use the information in here. Like it has, when I say it has everything in here that you ever need, if you need service ideas, if you need fundraising ideas, if you need to know how do I take minutes? How do I do a budget? All of that's in here. And it's a nice PDF, so you can just save this to your computer, and guess what? It's fine. So we're gonna go here, and this is gonna pull up. And it's a little, for me, it's easier to change the table of contents over here so I can see the titles to see where I'm going. But y'all, when I say everything is here, everything you ever need to run your chapter is here, literally. And when it comes to chapter operations, I think where a lot of chapters kind of fall down this like weird hole, they try to implement what was done in the past. And when that happens, you start missing a lot of newer information. And I know I've experienced that multiple times where I had to say like, wait, we don't even do this anymore. Why are we still trying to implement old ways? Now, some stuff, I mean, you could kind of keep, but always know, like, if you ever need to know what the latest rules, regulations, policies, things of that nature, come to the chapter operations handbook here, and also look at our Constitution. And that's why it's very important to go to district and national conventions as well, because guess what? Sometimes what happens there, it's like it will be announced there before it gets to the website. So that's why it's very important to go to those things. I just want to throw that in there because y'all know we got national convention next year in Orlando. Y'all should all go. Y'all should all start saving. You know, I'm just saying. Anyways, so like I said, all the information is here. Who you have to contact is here. Like everybody. And what I love about this is it gives you the definitions of what the basic responsibilities for each of these positions right here. So I'm not going to take the time to read it out. Y'all should already know who a lot of these people are, but let's continue. Also have a national leadership team. So in here, I like how they're breaking it down so you know the basic responsibilities again. And if y'all don't know who people on our national council are, I mean, you're seeing some of them today. Yeah, I'm just saying. But it's good to learn these things and to also, like, y'all, we're not scary people. And you could probably find us on Facebook. Y'all could say hi. Like, it's don't think that anybody on leadership or that works at headquarters is like scary people that you're not allowed to talk to or anything like that. Like, nah, like you could come up and say, hey, how's it going? My name is so-and-so. And if you want to ask a question, I mean, you could probably squeeze in a question, but, you know, try to, make those type of connections, because honestly, you never know who you're going to befriend and who you may be able to network with, or who may be able to network you to somebody they may know. So make those connections. All right. So you found the chapter operations handbook, you know who to contact, but you're a chapter that may struggle with deadlines. You're like, I didn't know this was due. I didn't know that was due, and I didn't know this was due. Y'all, all the deadlines for most of the things that y'all have to turn in are here. As far as paperwork, please, please, please be on top of your paperwork. I think that's the biggest thing that gets a lot of chapters in trouble is paperwork. With it being late, especially. Y'all, please, if you see all of these deadlines, y'all raise your hand if you can see these deadlines right now. I know I can. Y'all see these deadlines? Okay. Subtract 10 days from these deadlines, and that's your new deadline. Because guess what? You want to turn things in early because there are early bird awards, but just make the deadline your real deadline, not this one. Because when you make this deadline your actual deadline, guess what? You're going to be rushing. I'm pretty sure that a lot of y'all kind of struggle with getting your sponsor and DOB to sign off on paperwork, because guess what? Just because you turned it in, that does not mean that it's turned in on time. So what y'all have to do is pre-plan this. Like I said, subtract 10, 15 days from this deadline right here, and then make that your actual deadline. So that way you actually have some cushion if it's past your deadline, okay? But just turning your paperwork in on time, please, 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 please. Yep, revisions. Yes, that's thank you for bringing that up. Yes, revisions definitely makes it longer. Or if you're missing information or signatures, it can be a mess. So please just stay on top of this, y'all. I think this is the biggest thing that gets a lot of chapters in trouble. And what you can do, helpful tip right here, is create a Google Calendar, or however y'all plan or set up like meetings. Actually send out those calendar invites and stuff like that, and have it on your chapter Gmail, so that that's the one that's sending out the calendar invites, and then you won't have to worry about the next year doing the same thing. You can already program it into the chapter's Google account. That way it's like nobody in the future has to like reinvent the wheel. Like, we don't want to do that. I think that's also something to start thinking about too, is like, even though you may graduate, you still have people under you. So you want to make it easier for others that come behind you. I don't like the culture of, I had it hard, so y'all got to have it hard too. Nah, we're not doing that. We want an easy chapter. We want to be able to focus on service events and things like that. We don't want to have to focus on making sure our deadlines are met and things like that. Like, that shouldn't, because that's already engraved in our chapter. So why if I naturally am turning in things 15 days early, why would I want to like revert back to worrying about, oh no, it's September 30th, oh my God, like, why would I want to do it? We don't want to do it. So that's definitely a helpful tip right there. And again, this handbook, y'all, it just has everything in here. When y'all get a chance, just check this out. But it also breaks down the rules and responsibilities of your DOB, your chapter sponsor, sorry, and each of the roles of your chapter. Okay, so from the president on down, you should have some type of knowledge as to what everybody does. And it also has different notes in here, like your president should not be the same person as the first vice president or treasurer. Okay, question time. Why do y'all think that is? Why wouldn't your chapter president also be your first vice president or treasurer?
Because it's too much responsibility for one person. Specifically with treasurer, president and treasurer have to co-sign on checks and the debit card account. So if you have one person doing both, that gives them just full control of that account.
Yes. That's absolutely correct. It's checks and balances. You don't want the same person that essentially is running the chapter also signing off on the money, and also is because typically the first vice president will also be in charge of like membership intake and things of that nature. So that's a lot going on. But there has to be a checks and balances. Again, I know there's some situations where this kind of does happen, but typically this isn't a thing. President already has enough responsibility. Why give them more? Okay. So again, you have a plethora of knowledge here in this handbook, plethora. Like we could keep going, even down to your MEP, how you do bids. And I know that other people are going to be teaching about and talking about overture and things of that nature. So I'm not going to go into all of that now. However, I will show y'all back to our wonderful website. Guess what? If you had questions about overture, you could go here and get your answer. These are like most of this is password protected, so don't worry about like, oh well, everybody can find this. It's password protected, y'all. But you need to go here, and if your VPM or whoever is in charge of your membership candidates, if they don't know where to go, now you know where to go, so you can tell them. It's here on the national website, y'all. Please, just if you have questions about how to do how overture is, or even resources that you need, because I've definitely used this before. Because those presentations for some of the modules, y'all, like those help me, because it's like, why would I want to go out of my way to again reinvent the wheel when there are so many helpful presentations already put together for me to present? So definitely utilize, make this less of a hassle for y'all. Have suggestions, please just let somebody know. Please let somebody know. It's okay. Be respectful with it, of course, but if you're like, well, this doesn't, I don't understand how this goes, let us know, because we definitely love feedback, and we can definitely work together in creating a better presentation for this. Let me see the chat. Oh, I think it's this one, Leslie. Hold up.
What? Oh, good.
This one.
Oh, my bad. I thought you were okay. My bad. Yeah, that one. I'm just gonna send it to a random Monica. I don't know.
Right.
It's cool. My bad. A note on the CHOPS documents.
Yeah.
Like I think just last week, Christopher Lukasik, who's another rock star CBA and designee, Monica and Chris do a lot of the work for us, a lot of the heavy lifting. We went through and we updated CHOPS, so that will be coming out. The new version will be coming out before school starts again. So it will have Overture, the website, because that's fairly new. It will have updated email addresses of headquarters staff, because those changed. It'll have updated dues, but that's really the only things that'll change. So sorry to interject, also for you to get some tea time to coat your throat a little bit, girl. It's all good.
Oh, thank you. But that's good to know. So like I said, y'all, these documents do get looked over and they do get updated. So thank you for addressing that. So does anybody have any questions so far? Because I just like grazed the surface of this. No? Okay. So y'all probably like, okay, so you talked about deadlines, you talked about paperwork, all this other stuff. Also too, y'all, when it comes to your dues, please pay your dues. And remember that you have your members choose each person in the chapter. They all have like a chapter fee too. That's a whole thing. So I know sometimes, especially if you were initiated in the spring, and let's say everybody graduates and they don't necessarily tell you about certain things. Yeah, there's a whole chapter fee also associated too. So it's not per person, it's per chapter. Let me throw that out there because again, that kind of gets confused. But please make sure you pay your dues and everything like that. So another thing when it comes to your chapter operations is when you're doing your events, when you're actually doing service, as a chapter, it's very good over the summer. Please wait till the beginning of the semester to do this, y'all. Let's try to pre-plan for things, but please plan for how you want your chapter service to be. And when I say that, everybody's idea of service is very different. You could be in a band where you don't have to do uniforms. You don't have to necessarily like pass out food or things like that. So your definition of doing service for the band is doing actual like activities with the band. Of service is actually going in and having to do the uniforms, actually going in and having to mark the fields, passing out snacks, actually getting water and certain supplies for the band. So you have to define what your definition of service is, and know that because our service is for the band, we have to be mindful of the service that we do, okay? Like it's good to do community service for the community, but always remember to tie it back to actual like band. And when I say that, y'all probably like, well, we gotta play when we do service. I mean, if that's what y'all want to do, that's what y'all want to do. But what I'm saying is, let's say you wanted to do community service, and that's something that's very big at your school. What you could do is recruit members from the band to actually help do the community service with you. That's also a recruitment tool too. But just remember that what you need to define what your idea of service is and how you can bring more service to the band. And it's good to like, do this. But always like, please just do some service with the band, and find fun ways. Like, what's one thing? I think, did we do the, I know that we used to do, I think they still do this. When I was at Norfolk, we used to do turtle talks. And so we would just have this, we would do a spaghetti dinner, and then we would just have a discussion about whatever topic it was, whether it be like self-care or I think Miss Sanders, who's the assistant band director there, she came and like spoke and things like that. So it's like, figure out like how you can incorporate that into what you're doing for the semester and then for the year. Because again, your service, but your idea of service could be something on a smaller scale, or you could branch out and do something like a really, really, really big event for let's say for your school or for the community or something like that. So yeah, but also use Focus on 5, because a lot of the ways you earn your stripes is service-based. So keep that in mind too. Excuse me. And kind of like going from service a little bit, when it comes to like planning your events, I personally, y'all, I like to create, if I could get this pulled up, how can I, give me 1 second, y'all. Trying to move this.
You're all good. As you do that, if anybody has any questions, please throw them in the chat just at any time, and we'll just address whatever is needed.
Okay. Yes. If you have any questions, throw them in the chat, unmute, say, hey, Monica, I got a question. Quick. So I like to create an event planning form. And the way that, because I mean, from my background, event planning is something I really like doing, being BPSP. Typically, when you think about and when I say events, y'all, I'm talking about just anything that your chapter does. So for instance, if you have to, if there's a performance, if there is a, like emergency band needs, I get it. Like you have to kind of like drop everything and go. But if it's something that like, it's kind of like your band director is like, hey, can y'all boost the, do an activity to boost the morale because we need that right now. You should definitely figure out the best format for you, but do like a Google form and then just like have your event name, have the description of the event, who's the target audience, who's on your event committee, and materials needed, the budget for this event, agenda and when I say agenda, y'all, think of like your band schedule. You got your call time and you got when you go home. You need to kind of set up your agenda like that. And then if your event needs approval, y'all, like I said, this is back to basics. A lot of times when you inherit a chapter from your alumni and things like that, you're just going with the flow. And sometimes they don't tell you that your school requires you to actually put in to hold spaces for your rooms. They don't necessarily tell you that you have to actually be on a committee to in order to participate in your school's activities. So I highly encourage you guys to actually figure that out, preferably before the semester starts, because Tau Beta Sigma goes by what the university says. So if y'all not doing what the university says y'all should be doing, then you know that's kind of on y'all. You know what I'm saying? But definitely figure out if what you have going on needs to be approved by either by the university. Do you need to hold a space? Do you need your band director's approval and your sponsor's approval? Because let's face it, y'all, I know that a lot of sponsors and DOBs are kind of like, they're like, do your own thing. But you need to let them know what y'all are doing, because let's say that something goes awry and somebody's like, hey, where's your sponsor? Doesn't your sponsor know about this? Yeah, just send them the calendar, you can even send them like the responses to this form so that they at least know what's going on. And they're not like, oh, I didn't even know they had something today. It's just like, no, they need to be aware. And again, I know that there are some band directors and some sponsors out there that are like, I don't need to know. I really don't care. I just need to sign and do what I do. But let's try to keep them in the loop, especially when you're revisiting your chapter operations. Send them, like I said, send them a calendar, send them the events. And then when you have like a planned event, save this and keep it in a Google Drive, keep it in your chapter's Gmail, that TV Sigma, that Tau Beta Sigma provides, because then future generations can see like, okay, well, this sounds cool. Rosegrams, these sound cool. Spirit links, okay. You definitely want to start doing that, because again, why would you want to have a chapter struggle when you did, like, you already did the work, So definitely when it comes to like event planning and things like that, definitely keep those things in mind, because when you don't, you can end up like misstepping a couple of things, and it gets very frustrating. Trust me, I've been there. And as far as the type of events that you want to do, like I said, it's up to y'all. Definitely look at the size of your chapter and look at just the capacity that you can do. And a lot of times, the people in your band and the band directors, band staff, they'll probably have some suggestions on where you can navigate and cater your events to. So just have those type of conversations. And if you don't like have that type of relationship with the band staff or the band director or sponsor or anything like that, start trying to form one. It's okay. And then you can also try to survey the people within the band too. It's like, hey, do y'all want to have a trivia night, or like, do y'all want to have a party? Like, what do y'all want to do? What can we do for y'all? That's reasonable, right? So think about that when it comes to like your event planning, things like that. Okay, I'm still good on time. Does anybody have any questions? No? No? Okay, well, I have a question for y'all. So what are some type of service events that your chapter does?
So a really big one, I mean, the entirety of marching season, we do a lot. But during band camp, we do fruit breaks. So like in the middle of the day, because I think we do 3 blocks for our marching band. So in the middle of the morning break, we'll do a fruit break. So we'll go to like Costco, buy $200 worth of fruit. I sit down. So by the time 3 hours into rehearsal hits, they're nice and cold, and it's refreshing, and it's really nice. Everyone's really grateful for it. But I'd say that, and then our chapter also is in charge of like our service, obviously service, our like setup and tear down, and we do our band banquet, and then we also trying to think. Yeah, that's it for now.
Okay, that's definitely really good. That's definitely really good. But I like that, you know, from band camp on, like y'all are consistently involved, you know. Let's see. We host a reception after concerts. We also do uniforms. Whew. Uniforms, y'all. Quick story time. Uniforms. Though I'm very appreciative that was the way that that my chapter had to do service. Uniforms are one of the, you have to have patience, and you have to just smile, a cheerfulness at all times and under all circumstances. Whew, because when people leave their uniform like 5 minutes before we got to step off. Anyways, sorry. But yeah, that's one way, uniforms. When our band goes on bus trip games, we pack snacks in brown paper bags and distribute them to everyone on the bus. Okay, yes, that's definitely a good way. Because, you know, I don't know about y'all, but when it comes to food, if you get some food in band, I don't care who you are, you're going to be happy. And then you're going to look at the person that's handing them out and it's like, thank you. But then like that small thank you is going to, this is a recruitment tool, y'all. Wear your letters when you do it, because they're always going to remember that, especially if they were freshmen or just coming into the band. Oh, wait, we got a couple. Hold up. Let me see. We hand out essentials like masks, hygiene products, hand sanitizers. Yes, that's especially these times right now. Yes, that's a good way. Typically, our president is also in charge of uniforms. Is definitely See. I was in charge of uniforms, and I don't know. I don't even know how that happened. Anyways, we typically size people for uniforms at the beginning of the season. Okay. So these are all great ways to implement service. And let me show y'all something real quick. See, that's good. See, y'all working together. See, I ain't had it. I had to form my own uniform committee. I wanted to show you guys this real quick. Is it in here? Okay, so again, these are that form that I was showing you guys. This is another version of it. Definitely feel free to print this out or turn it into a Google form. But this is what I really wanted to show y'all. Y'all, when I discovered this document so many years ago after I was active, do you know how upset I was at myself that I was struggling to figure out like where service, like what we could do, like even fundraising ideas. I looked at this and I was just like, this was here the whole time. Why didn't anybody tell me? So that's why I'm telling you guys now, it is here. And these are only examples. And that's what I really like about this. And even when it comes to, again, your chapter operations, like, yes, you need to have your officer roles. Yes, you need to turn in your paperwork and turn in your dues and keep that all in order. Yes, your chapter needs a budget. Let's talk about that. Your chapter needs a budget, y'all. Yes, your chapter needs a constitution too, that you need to be revisiting all the time. But everybody does everything differently. And that's the part that's okay. It's okay for you to do a couple of things differently, but please just those things, those are like the true basics and foundations that if I go from chapter to chapter, I should say, hey, who's your president? Who's your VP? Who's your treasurer? Things of that nature, okay? But like this right here, your service is going to look different wherever you go, but these are just examples. Like these are all examples. And even when it goes down to your fundraising and what that looks like, because I also understand that some schools, like you may not be able to open your own bank account. You may not be able to do a couple of things. So definitely take from here. Look, it even says it here. Y'all, do not reinvent the wheel. It says it in the documents. Don't reinvent the wheel, y'all. We're trying to make this as easy and as effortless for y'all as possible. So please utilize this document. Like, utilize this document. You know where to go. Like I said, it's under resources and links on our national website. That's where you're going to find a lot of your information. Like a lot. Like, look at this. Look at it. Penny Wars. I remember Penny Wars. That's fun because if y'all know what Penny Wars are, like you could do it by sections or whatever, but in each jar or for each team is a separate jar. You're only supposed to put pennies in them. But what some people would do is start putting some dollars or some dimes and quarters, and it affects the score. So you end up making a lot of money because people try to sabotage other teams. It was hilarious. That was fun. But these are just the basics. So if Steve is solely in charge. Okay. Look. Well, I lost my train of thought. I'm sorry. When it comes to like fundraising and stuff, like, it's going to look different, but if you're crafty, all I'm going to say is you can crochet, you can paint, you can sew, get creative, because as you're an active person, there are a lot of people that are willing to pay for different things. So definitely invest in your craft, because that's another fundraiser. Oh, you're only seeing the event planning? Even now?
Yep. You have the other tabs up, but we just see the event planning. Sometimes the sharing is tricky.
Oh, my bad. Let me thank you for saying that. Can y'all see this now?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry. Well, this is what I was talking about. all the fundraising ideas where,
Food now.
yeah, where it says don't reinvent the wheel, all this other stuff.
Oh yeah, I've been wanting to do that for a while.
Hmm.
Oh, sorry.
And when it comes to fundraisers, I need those out here too. Please be mindful when you're working with like other businesses and things like that. Sometimes it can get a little tricky because of the type of organization we are. So just be mindful. And especially if you need your what's it called, Leslie? Is it the tax the tax ID?
Yep.
Yeah.
We are a 503C company, so we are tax free, but we're a nonprofit entity. So we cannot have political affiliations or anything like that. And so just 501c3. Perfect. So that's what that's called.
Yeah. So just be mindful when it comes to if you have to fill out paperwork. Please don't fill out paperwork without your DOB or sponsor. I'm gonna say this one more time. Please do not fill out any paperwork without your DOB or sponsor. And I'm not talking about like for OMRS and things like that. Yes, like of course they're going to be on that. I'm talking about like if somebody approaches you and wants you to sign a contract for something, please do not do that without your DOB or sponsor and y'all talking through, because sometimes y'all, some people will get you into a deal and it could be costly over time. So yeah, let's not do it. Yes. Okay. And again, like I said, y'all see the chapter operations handbook. Y'all know where to go for all of this. Do I have like 15 more minutes, Leslie?
Yep.
Oh, cool.
Yes, you do.
All right. So I want to kind of just like wrap everything up and just talk about again, if you have questions about anything, y'all, please don't hesitate to reach out. Like, you have people that you can contact, and no question is a stupid question. Like, I look, I don't care if you're like, hey, Monica, what's our national website? I don't care. Just ask. I don't mind saying it. But I would rather you know versus you being confused and then you're thinking that you're doing everything right and you're wondering why, like, wait, why is my chapter on probation right now? But it's because you may have turned in something in late one too many times. And that's, like I said, that's the quickest way to get on probation, actually. And excuse me, and really when you start understanding what these statuses mean and what different things mean within the organization, you start to realize, like, hey, we got to be on it. And like I said, no question is a stupid question. You guys have you have a lot of resources right now. And I know with the pandemic and everything, a lot of things have changed, especially when it comes to like when you meet and how you do rituals and things like that. Definitely take all of that into consideration too. So if let's say, I mean, because I know a lot of things are going back to in person, but I feel like virtual meetings can actually still be used. So if a virtual meeting is the best way to meet, in my opinion, meet virtually if that's the best way to meet. Don't just meet virtually so you can have your camera off and you could be doing 5 billion things and not actually participating in the meeting. But if, let's say, like y'all got out of band practice a little later than usual and y'all just need to go home and handle your stuff and then come back, like meet virtually. Like, what's the point in like y'all going home and then come back out? Like, no, let's not do that. But definitely try to utilize that time, even when it comes to if you break out into committees and start planning for different things. You can meet virtually, because I know everybody's schedule is busy, but hey, you got time for a Zoom call, you got time for a phone call. So start utilizing that and start planning for things like that, especially because I'm pretty sure a lot of people's schedules are about to get a lot busier because we're more in person now. So the excuse of, well, we didn't have time to meet. You can meet. It's the way you meet. Can you meet for 30 minutes virtually versus 30 minutes in person? That's what you have to start asking yourself, and then asking people within the chapter. And if y'all ever have problems with that, when it comes to like accountability and things like that, again, you have people you can talk to where we can actually, do a one-on-one and say, okay, well, how can we navigate this? How can you start creating some accountability within the chapter? Because I know that's a big thing too, especially with everything that has happened. It's just like, hey, people just don't want to do things anymore. And you have to start really thinking about like, how can you help people be accountable when it comes to participation and things like that. Oh, does anybody have any questions?
Erica's going to go in depth a little bit about that in her session, right? Or is that?
I believe so, yes.
Okay.
So, yeah, there's lots of changing things and everything like that, but yeah. Chops is a wonderful thing. Bookmark it, have it. Whatever questions you have, always feel free to ask. But if you're not comfortable asking, it's most likely in Chops. I think we've tried to think about everything. And if we haven't, let us know and we will add it. Maybe things we haven't thought about. We also have, because I think we will consistently be living in a semi-virtual world. And so we do update our pivot document every year, and that provides guidance. That's also on our website. That also provides guidance on virtual interactions regarding, so we fully support, we have quite a few chapters that do a hybrid model where they meet in person one week and then the other week they meet virtually, just for scheduling ease and also for safety ways. And just a lot of chapters for their meetings, if someone has to be virtual, they will make sure that they have the resources available to make that accessible, to make their meetings accessible for anybody who needs it. We're still on national leadership standpoint. Sorry, my dog just got a bone from grocery store and she likes to go to work while there's things happening behind. Sorry if you hear random snapping of ligaments, it's just my dog being a monster. But we still hold a strong stance on not holding rituals virtually. And you can think of the different ways that is scary, but we still have, our national leadership team is still trained in providing virtual rituals. So even if you are doing those in person, they're kind of cool to check out and just see how they work. And it's also, as an adult who in the organization, I do have interaction like this with you guys, but not as much as I would like to. Usually it's lots of emails and lots of meetings with other adults. It was really nice to have all those virtual rituals before. So I think a lot of us are up for doing those still, but yeah.
I have a question about Pivot specifically, since you mentioned that that's getting updated.
Sure.
This past year, one of the requirements of Pivot was that every single in-person event had to be approved by chapter sponsor in writing. And our chapter sponsor is really, really tired of doing that. Do you have any word on whether Pivot this year will be updated to reflect like more recent and applicable guidance? I was told by our CBA that it probably would be, but I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, that's an excellent point. I would say reach out specifically to Siobhan or the council and ask that question, but that's something that's definitely on our radar. I do believe that we are leaning towards lifting those requirements, so. Or you may also do that, but that's a good point. We will update that in August, if not sooner. I believe we will have our national council meeting in July before we have our summer council, or before we have our district presidents come. So that will definitely, I'm putting that in my notes right now just to bring that up. So thank you. You actually asked one of the right people there. So good call.
Thank you.
You're welcome. What other questions do you guys have in the exciting world of chapter operations? All right.
Is there an update? And I don't know if this is the right time to ask her if in another session on Opus.
Yes, that has been waylaid longer than what we wanted to due to company issues. And so we're hoping, the plan right now tentative would be over Christmas break, but we're planning for the worst, hoping for the best on it. So hopefully in the time that you guys are still active members, that will take place, because OMRS is getting slower and more turtley and hard to navigate and like that. So we do have a team of five or six computer programming experts that are working, that they have meetings every week, just making sure this progress is moving forward. So good question.
I guess I did a good job.
Yeah, you did. Good deal. All right, any parting words of wisdom, Monica? You feel good?
Like I said, if y'all have questions, like I said, don't be afraid to reach out. Like, a lot of people are not scary. Like, you can literally just like find us on Facebook, send us an email, and we will respond to you. As long as you be respectful, that's all we ask, just to be very respectful and everything. But yes, just definitely just take this summer to plan out your semester, to plan out your year, because it will help. It will help. And a lot of people have a lot of things due like at the start of August. So you might want to start planning things now, because it's not necessarily that you turn it into OMRS, but there are things that are due. So I believe it's your MEP, your budget, and your constitution. So you might want to work on those things. And yeah, that's all I got. Like I said, if y'all need anything, Leslie put my information in the chat. So yeah, that's all I got.